I've explained this in my previous videos, but I'll reshare it again because it's something very significant to which this activation of trigger changed my life entirely. I started to not care what people think because I've evaluated all the values that I have given and still come up short in the eyes of other people's realities. Now, how many of us take things that don't belong to us and carry it within us throughout our lives? It's pretty scary, isn't it? But it's real. And so I don't want people to be disillusioned from their path just because of opinions. You know what I mean? Because you can do everything right for the wrong people. And you can do it for so long that that's all you know. I woke up from my slumber and I was very energized. My body was telling me that I needed to do this and go to sleep the very moment that I feel tired and get up early. I had developed a bad habit of being a night owl based on my work schedule. And it feels good. It feels good to wake up or be up while everybody's asleep and nobody's bothering you. Now, you have to understand where the root of this comes from. There's a lot of traffic jams and a lot of distractions. I get so upset sometimes because I want peace. We all do. But we don't really do the things that we want to do to obtain those things. And there's so much people around us that we just don't have that. And sometimes if it's in our minds, we have to get creative on going up north to the mountains and exploring the world of the unknown. You know, a lot of people do this all the time. You have a day off, you post pictures on social media of you out there in the cabins, the mountains, and doing all those simple things, you know. But if you really think about it, you experience those things temporarily if you don't live in those areas, etc. So then you go back to your daily routine. And that's fine because balance is required. But sometimes it can be a little bit too overbearing. And I just want to get to a place where internally I'm just filled with peace in my heart. But you can't always have peace in your heart if in your heart it's telling you something like you need to be somewhere else. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning today and I felt very energized. I was very happy because I knew that it would get to this point when I ignored the signals and feelings in my body and my mind and soul. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of small patterns that I have developed out of a bad habit, and therefore it's caused me to feel good. So I am activated of a new reality that I make a part of my daily life. And so when that happens, it's a new life, you know what I mean? It's a new you. When I got up, I decided to organize structured goals for the day and also for the next couple of months. I felt very accomplished, and that was the first spark of good energy. And that's really like biting into a fruit, you know? Like the first sip of your coffee when you start your day off should be something positive, you know? And sometimes it should be something negative. It should be something challenging as well. But in this case, it was more peaceful. And that was when I realized that I looked up the sunset and I haven't seen the birds chirp and the sun come up. But when I did, it was a brand new reality because I haven't seen that in a long time. And I realized that I developed a bad habit being up in the afternoon and then realizing that by the time I was ready to pack up, it was getting dark, and therefore it was causing me a lot of stress, unconscious stress that developed into and accumulated, you know. And when things happen like that for a long time, you kind of get comfortable with that too. Even when you know something is not positive, you just, hey, it is what it is. You shrug your shoulders and you don't change. You ever lose grip on an object and it drops to the floor so many times and you get so frustrated and pissed off and you wonder why this keeps happening? You bump your toe into the bedpost, it hurts so bad, you tell yourself it's never gonna happen again. This is what happens to me. And I got so upset, I started bleeding from my pinky toe, and it was causing me to change. And what was the meaning behind it? I asked myself this question. It was maybe the universe is teaching me self-awareness. And I can't help but keep my eyes wide open now because I don't want to hit that bedpost again. I had to dance the next day. I bumped my pinky toe. You know, and you have to look at this. It's like, but some people are so comfortable in being uncomfortable. And so, like right now, I just moved to a different spot because people started coming through, and I had no privacy. Freaking motorcycle over there. The sun's coming up. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and people are out and about. There goes my quiet time. See? But you had to adapt like a nomad. And so I did that, and I moved to a different spot here. But instead of like giving up and just packing up my bag, going to my car to the coffee shop to post this video, I just wanted to go to a different scene, a different route, and make the best of my time here and take my time. Because before I never had the time. And so I would rush into things, and I was proud of myself for taking the action, but I wasn't completely satisfied because in my heart, I knew that if I had just changed certain things and owned the day, I felt having more time is the new currency, and I feel rich at this very moment. I was watching this one video of this girl. She had a rare form of disease, and I'm sure you guys know her. She's a midget, but she looks a lot older than what she is. She's tiny, and very, very tiny. But she had said something that stuck with me years later. And she said she had thought about what if she was her mother and she saw her own daughter not happy with who she is. How would my mother feel as her daughter that is miserable, you know? And it made me think, like, I'm always outside the box type of thinking person, which also means that I don't just think about my own perception on things. I think about all different types of perceptions. I think about my mother's, my grandma's, etc., right? So I saw that if I wasn't happy given certain things in my life and this good look, this voice, this beautiful life, what am I really doing, and why would I want to waste it? At a young age, I'm gonna carry this into me and regret every single thing that I wish that I appreciated when I turn old at 90 years old, 100 years old. And that's not the life I want to live. So everything that I've done so far has been to consciously create and mold a storytelling piece of storyboard into each individual person's life. I don't have to explain myself or prove myself to 7.8 billion people on this planet, but I do go to one job, and I do go to a few buildings with food that I eat in, and I live in one home. I deal with about 10 people on a daily basis, so I might as well make my life enjoyable and respect those around me. About that, I can't always receive it from the people that should, but I don't care because I stand up for myself and I respect myself, and that's how I build my self-esteem. And even if I get the dirty look, I would be the one giving them a dirty look because I would hold resentments, not standing up for myself. I'm starting to see small signals, like my car. There are very subtle signs that is preventing me from achieving a very bad situation. And so I have to take these small signs as a blessing because I've learned a lot from my mistakes in the past. And so I think this developed heightened sense of awareness is increasing positive things to happen based on my positive energy and mindset and the way I perceive my reality. And so each mistake that I made, I fix and find solutions that turn any minor issue into a solution. And so there it is, and there you have it. As far as people go, you have to listen to the things that they say. You have to feel how they make you feel. And so when I sense something negative and I see and feel something condescending from somebody, they actually are telling me that they want to use me and that they don't want to hold themselves accountable for where they're at in life, unhappy, and want to take it out on me and use me as a scapegoat to fund their bad habits. Another thing I've realized is that I'm seeing sort of the same patterns again from different people, similar situations, except this time I know who I am as a person, so I therefore will handle the person up front, but in my own unique way that tells them I'm not afraid of them and that I am peaceful regardless if they change or don't change after standing up for myself, and therefore they have no choice but to look at themselves in the mirror. I learned this at a very young age because when I was a kid, I used to pick on my little brother, and my uncle was like, okay, well, he said to my little brother, do it to him. How would you feel if it happened to you? That's what my uncle taught me, and I understood very early. It was a good life lesson. I loved the way that I was brought up and raised. Accountability is a very interesting situation because you sometimes have to look at yourself as a person that's made choices to stick around toxic people you know isn't good for you. And most people, a lot of people have a hard time admitting that. You know, if I asked a friend, think about how many people walk up to you and say, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I apologize, I shouldn't have done that, etc. Most people would rather argue. And so when I started to own myself, I knew that I could somehow inspire others to do the same, and that could also therefore change the world to make it into a better place. Because once you start to realize this, you know that you can create a better circumstance, but sometimes we tend to feel powerless and think that we have nothing to offer and we can't do anything about it.